Okay, this is our first topic. Our topic is simple interest and simple discount. Okay, so before we can calculate simple interest or simple discount, we need to be able to determine the time between dates. That means we want to know what is the duration of the loan period or the period that you borrow money or lend money. We want to know the duration of the period. Okay, this is called the time between dates. Okay, there are two ways we can calculate the time between dates. The first way is known as the exact time, also known as the 365-day year. Okay, or the other method is to find the approximate time, anggaran, approximate time, also known as the 360-day year. We all know that in 1 year there's 365 days. Okay, so if you want to count the time, exact date will be 365. But if you want to make our calculations easier, then we take the approximate time, which is 365-day year. Okay, so for example, find the exact time. Okay, before we do this, let's do something simple first. Today is February 2nd. Okay, so can you find the exact time between February 2nd or 2nd of February, okay, to February 5th? How many days exactly from February 2nd to February 5th?
3.
Everybody 3? 4? Okay,
4.
some of you say 4, some of you say 3. Okay, okay. In business, okay, in banking and in business, okay, the general practice is to disregard the first day. We disregard the first day, we include the last day. So now, what is the exact time between February 2nd and February 5th?
3.
4.
3, right? Because we disregard, so we have here February 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, these are the dates from February 2nd to February 5th. But in business, we always disregard the first day. The last day we include. So there is 1, 2, and 3. 3 days. So the exact time between February 2nd and February 5th is 3 days. Okay? Okay, now let's look at this example. Find the exact time from September 10 to December 19 of the same year, of this year. Let's say of this year. So we have how many months here? We have September, we have October, November, and December. Okay, we have 4 months here. September 10th. So from September 10th, September is how many days? 30 or 31 days?
30.
Yes. So how many days are there from September 10 to September 30?
20.
Yes. 20 days. October how many days?
31.
31 days. November?
30.
December?
31.
So what's the total here? Sorry. December we want until 19th of December. So we have 19 days. Okay, so what's the total here now? How many days?
100.
Yes, 100 days. So the exact time from September 10 to December 19 is 100 days. So supposing you take a loan and your loan starts on September 10 and finishes on December 19, then you have taken the loan for 100 days. That is how they will calculate your interest based on 100 days. So far, okay? Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, so if we use another example, approximate time. If we use the same example and we want to calculate the approximate time from September 10 to December 19. How do we do that? Okay. So for approximate time, we know that from September 10 to October 10 is 1 month. October 10 to November 10 is 1 month. Okay. November 10 to December 10 is 1 month. So how many months are there from September 10 to December 10? Months. How many months are there?
3 months.
3 months, right? Okay. From December 10 to December 19, how many days are there?
9.
Yes, 9 days. So we know that there are 3 months and 9 days. Okay. In the approximate time method, we assume that 1 month is 30 days. Okay, we assume that 1 month is 30 days. So 3 months will be 3 times 30 plus the 9 days. So how much do we get here? This is 99 days. Okay. So just now we used the exact time method and we calculated that the time between September 10 to December 19 is 100 days. Now we use the other method, approximate time method, and we calculate that the time between September 10 to December 19 is 99 days. You see there's a difference here? Yes?
Yes.
Is this difference
Yeah.
important? When we calculate interest, which time do we normally take? Okay, this is very important. Even 1 day difference can cost you a lot of money. Okay, so this second method is also known as the banker's method. You know why? Because bankers like this method. Because they benefit from this method. They make untung. Okay, this is also known as the banker's method. This method is used in US and also for international banking. Okay, international banking, they use this method. Everything's over 360 days. Okay, here this method is used in Malaysia. Malaysia uses exact time. Malaysia, Canada, they use exact time. Okay, second method is called the banker's method. Okay, so this is how we determine the time between dates. Okay, this is very important if you want to calculate interest. Okay, so we finished with time between dates. So now we know how to do that. Now let's look at interest. Okay, we start with simple interest. Okay, before we go to that, there is another method. Okay, there's another method to find the time between dates. It is using a timetable, a special timetable. Okay, if you look at the table here, you see this is a special timetable. The first column lists the days of the month. So we have 1 to 31. And then we have January 1 to 31 and then continue February 32 onwards until the end. Okay. So if we can also use this timetable. A lot of banks use this timetable to find the time between dates. Say we want to find the time between February 2nd and February 9th. The time between dates from February 2nd to February 9th. So we look at the date of the month, we want 2nd. So we look along February. What is the value here? 33. And then we search for February 9. 9 February is 40. So the time between dates is 40 minus 33. What is that? 7. Correct? So the time between dates between February 2nd and February 9 is 7 days. So now let's look at the example here. Find the exact number of days between January 28 and June 14 of the same year. Okay. Oh, sorry. January 14 and January 28. So the first column, we go down, scroll down until 28. And we look at the value at January 28. So this is also 28. For June 14, first column, we scroll down to 14 and we look for June, along the row June. So the value here is 165, okay? So here the time between dates is 165 minus 28. This is 137. That means there are 131 days from January 28 until June 14. So when we calculate, we do not include 28, we include 14. Okay? This is the other method of calculating the time between dates. This is called the timetable method. This is a special table that a lot of banks use. Okay? Can you get that?
Yes.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Okay, now we're
Madam.
going to yes.
So, for Malaysia, which one we are using for the banking?
365 exact time.
Oh, okay. Then how about timetable method is for which country?
The timetable method, the timetable method is based on exact time or what? Timetable.
Oh,
Exact.
Is this based on exact time or look at the last day here? How many days are there at the end there?
oh, okay.
365, so this is exact time method. Okay?
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay, good question. Okay, now let's go to the simple interest. Okay, do you know what is interest? All of you all have banking accounts, right?
Yes.
Do you know what is the interest for your savings account? Any of you know?
No.
We don't know because we just throw the money there, right?
Yeah, use money.
So, yes, actually it's very important for you to know. Maybe now you don't have a choice which bank you want to keep your money in, but later when you start working, you have a choice which bank you want to keep your money in. So that time, you must look at all their interest rates before you choose the bank, okay? Okay, so money paid for the use of money is called interest, okay? If you want to use somebody's money, you must pay interest. If somebody wants to use your money, they must pay you interest, okay? So when you take a loan from a bank, you are borrowing from the bank, right? So you must pay the bank interest so that you can use their money, okay? If you keep your money in the savings account or a fixed deposit account, then the bank will pay you interest. You know why? Because when you keep your money in the bank is going to use your money. Okay, so they pay you interest. That is what we mean by interest. Okay. The sum of money on which interest is paid is called the principal. Okay. The principal is the total sum of money, the first sum of money that we calculate the interest on. That is called the principal, also known as the present value. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there are two types of interest, simple interest and compound interest. In this lesson, we are going to focus on simple interest, okay? Simple interest is paid only on the original amount borrowed for the entire period is borrowed. That means if you borrow 1,000 ringgit from the bank, they calculate interest on that 1,000. If you borrow for, say, 2 years, then they calculate the interest for that 1,000 only, and you only have to pay that much at the end of the 2-year period, okay? So that is why it's called simple interest. The interest doesn't change, it's one fixed rate. Okay, so which formula are we going to use to calculate the interest? This is the formula, okay? Interest is I. I is equals to P multiplied by R multiplied by T. P is the principal amount. R is the interest rate. T is the time period in years. This is very important. T is the time period in years. I is the simple interest. So this S here represents the simple total. It's actually the amount lah, okay? The simple amount S. So S is P plus I. S is the principal plus the interest, that is the simple amount. That means if you borrow 1,000, say the interest rate is 10%, the bank will calculate the interest for that 1,000. So the interest plus say the interest is 10% is 100 ringgit. Your principal is 1,000. 1,000 plus 100 is 1,100. That is the simple amount that you owe the bank at the end of the loan period. Okay? So far, okay? Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, so Jane borrows 800 ringgit for 10 months at a simple interest rate of 12% per annum. Per annum means, annum here means year, okay? Per annum means year. Okay? Find the interest and the total amount she has to pay. Okay, they ask. So what is given here? What is this amount here? 800.
P.
Yes, so P is P is the principal amount. This is the amount that you are borrowing from the bank. You are borrowing it for 10 months. So what does this represent? So your T is, yes, but we use in our formula T is in years. So this is in months. So what is our T in years? 1 year got how many months? 1 year, 12 months. 12 months is 1 year, 10 months is 10 over 12 years. Okay, so this is 10 months. Okay, so we have to convert it to years. Okay, we know that 12 months, okay, is 1 year. Therefore, 10 months is 10 over 12 years. Okay, that's the calculation that we do. Okay, so this is T is also given. And it's given here, interest rate is 12% per annum. So our R is 12%, is 12 over 100. Or you can use this as 0.12, whichever way. You can use a fraction or you can use decimal, whichever way you like. Okay, so now let's calculate the interest first. You know the interest is PRT. P 800 times R is 12 over 100 times T is 10 over 12. Okay. So this is 80 ringgit. So our interest is 80 ringgit. So what is the total amount that she has to pay? Total amount, our simple total is P plus I. This is principal is 800 plus the interest is 80 ringgit. Therefore, she has to pay 880 ringgit to the bank. Okay. So that means she borrowed 800 for 10 months, but she must pay back 880 ringgit. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, coming back to this for a while. So you know the interest is PRT. Okay, S is the sum, the sum or the simple amount at the end that you must pay. That is the principal plus the interest. Okay, so if this is also equals to the principal plus, you know the interest is PRT, correct? So S is also equals to P into 1 plus RT, correct? So P is the principal and PRT is the interest. So we can also write it as this way, okay? If we want to find what is the sum owed at the end of the period, we can straight away use this formula if you want, okay? S equals to P into 1 plus RT. But if you have this formula here and you want to find P, what is P from this formula? P is the principal. P is S over 1 plus RT, correct? Which is also the same as times 1 plus RT to the power of negative 1. Okay, so you must know these formulas. Okay, they are actually all the same thing, just that we have rewritten it in different ways. Okay, you must know that the interest is always PRT, principal times rate times the time, and the sum that you're going to pay is the principal plus the interest, which is also equal, can also be written as S equals to P times 1 plus RT. Okay, from here, if you want to find the principal, then this is the formula. Okay, so these formulas are all very, very important because we will use it interchangeably. Okay, okay, let's go back and do another example. Okay, you read the question first. Okay, a loan of 15,000 ringgit is taken out. That means you have taken a loan. If the interest rate on the loan is 7%, how much interest is due and what is the amount repaid if the loan is due in 7 months? So let's answer part A first, okay? So what is our P here? 15,000, correct? What is our R?
7%.
Yeah, so it's 7 over 100. What is our T?
7 months.
7 months. So that means our value is 7 over
12.
12. Yes, 7 over 12. So now we want to calculate I. I is equals to PRT, which is 15,000 times by 7 over 100 times by 7 over 12. Okay, and we get, you can cancel it and then you can solve it. So we get 600. The interest is 612 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, so what is the amount repaid? If that is the interest, what is the amount repaid? Amount repaid is the principal plus the interest, which is 15,000 plus the interest is 612 ringgit and 50 cents. So you have to pay back 15,612 ringgit and 50 cents. Okay, correct? So this is one method of doing this. Okay, or we want to, if we want to find just the end, the sum here, okay, the sum that we need to pay back, we can also do it this way. S is equals to, you know that S is equals to P times 1 plus RT. We saw this formula just now, right? So our P is the principal, which is 15,000. 1 plus R is 7 over 100 times by T is 7 over 12. Okay. So if you solve this, okay, you get straight away 1561250. Okay. So if the question asks you to just, what is the amount repaid? What is the, you can straight away use this sum, okay, this formula and find it. But if they ask you how much is the interest due first, then you need to calculate the interest first and then only find the sum. Okay? Can? Okay, this is part A, okay? Now let's look at part B, okay? They ask you, part B, the loan was taken out on April 7 and is due in 7 months, okay? The loan was taken out on April 7 and is due in 7 months. So what does it mean?
Start from April 7.
Yeah, start from April 7. And so what is our T here for part B?
Still 7 months.
Is it still 7 months? But you see, when they give you a date, okay, since a date is given, Okay, they give you the starting date of the loan, so we must use days. We cannot use months anymore. Okay, so 7 from April 7 to 7 months is April 7 to November 7. How many days is that? So we need to know from April 7 till November 7, how many days?
$210.
You sure? April 7 to November 7, okay? So let's look at 7. Okay, 7, April 7. April 7 is 97. And then we have November 7. Okay, what is 311 minus 97? So we have 311 minus 97 is?
214.
Yes, it's 214 days. Okay, so I purposely chose this question so that you can see why it's different. Okay, in the first month we have to use T in months. Okay, but once they give you a date, you must use the T in days. So now the days is 214. Okay, let's count the S, the final sum. Okay, so we're going to use P into 1 plus RT. Okay, so our P is 15,000 into 1 plus R is 7 over 100 times by our T is 214 over, if we are using exact dates, is 300. Usually we use exact dates. We try to use exact dates. Huh? So it's 217 over 365. So you will get 15615.52. Okay. Do we have exactly the same? Different, okay? Part B is a little bit more. Okay, so this is how we calculate lah. Okay, let's do another example. Okay, determine the exact and ordinary simple interest. Okay, here exact interest means in exact interest, T is number of days over 365. Okay, ordinary interest is the banker's method. T is equals to number of days over 360. Okay, this is what we say is the banker's method. Okay, so now determine the exact and ordinary simple interest on a 90-day loan of 8,000 ringgit at 6.5% interest. Okay, let's calculate the exact interest first. We're using this formula. So here interest is equals to PRT, which is equals to P is 8,000 multiplied by R is 6.5%. So 6.5 over 100 multiplied by T is number of days. So they've given us number of days is 90. So this is 90 over 365. Okay, so we get here 128 ringgit and 22 cents. Okay, for ordinary interest, I is equals to PRT. Okay, E still the same, 8,000 times R is 6.5 over 100 times our T is also 90 days, but now we're dividing it by 360. So our interest is 160 30 days. Which is more? Banker's method is more. Okay. So if the bank uses banker's method, which means they charge you more interest. So it's always better if they use the exact date. It is better for the borrower. Okay. Okay, so we have finished with simple interest. Of course, you will see it again and again. Okay, now let's go on to another concept here. Okay, so the next concept here that we're looking at is simple discount. Okay, simple interest and simple discount, they're slightly the same, okay? It's just how you look at it, okay? When you borrow a certain amount of money from the bank, okay? Sometimes say you borrow 1,000 from the bank, but the bank only gives you 900, okay? So the bank actually has deducted the simple interest from the loan amount before giving you the loan. When this happens, we say that the loan has been discounted. Okay, the interest value that is deducted is called the discount. And the actual amount given to the borrower is known as the proceeds. Okay, so if an amount M is borrowed at a time T at a discount rate of R per annum, then the discount is given as D equals to MRT. You see that this formula is just the same as the other formula is PRT, correct? It is the same formula, just that here they call it interest, here we call it discount. This is the M is the amount borrowed, here is the principal, R and T is the same. Okay, so sometimes when you take a loan from the bank, you take 1,000, you ask for 1,000 loan, they give you 1,000 loan, and then you pay back plus the interest. Say it's 10% interest means you pay back 1,100. Okay, but some banks, they don't give you an interest rate, they give you a discount rate. That means you borrow 1,000, the discount rate is 10%, so it's 100, it calculates 100. So the bank gives you 900 ringgit only. They've already taken out the discount. When you pay back, you pay them back 1,000 ringgit. Can you understand that concept? You understand?
Can you repeat, madam?
Okay, I repeat slowly, yeah. Okay. So that's why when you want to ask for a loan, sometimes we must be careful because sometimes some of us we go and get a loan and then we are so surprised why we get less, you see. So you must know whether it's interest rate or discount rate. If it's interest rate, say you want to borrow 1,000 ringgit from the bank. You borrow 1,000 ringgit at 10% interest. So how much is the interest?
100.
100 ringgit, right? So how much you must pay back the bank?
1,100.
Yeah, say you take for 1 year, so you must pay back 1,100. Okay, so the bank will give you 1,000. You go home with 1,000 ringgit. At the end of 1 year, you must pay back 1,100 ringgit. Okay, but if the bank is offering discount rate, they don't offer interest rate. That means you borrow 1,000. Okay, you ask the bank for 1,000, but the bank will only at the same discount rate 10%. But the bank will only give you 900. You go home with 900. But at the end of 1 year, you must pay back 1,000. So it is still coming to 1,100. You understand?
Yes.
Faham tak?
Okay.
Madam, which do you
So
prefer?
it's the same concept. It's just that here, in discount, simple discount, they already discount the interest and take it out. And then only they give you the balance. Okay, in interest rate, they give you the whole money and then later you pay back everything. Okay, the calculations are this. What I want to tell you is that the calculation is the same. So if you want to find the discount, it is same MRT. Interest is PRT. Okay, so the proceeds is the actual amount the borrower gets. You go home with this money is this just now it was S is equals to P plus I. Now because you go back with less, right? So it's M minus D. It's minus now. Minus the discount. Just now was S is equals to P plus I. You go home with this. This is the amount that you must pay at the end. Okay. Here you go home with this amount. The total amount minus the discount.
So, madam, normally the bank, which one they will use? It's for
Depends on the bank. So that's why when you ask for a loan, you must see whether it's interest, in simple interest, or whether it's simple discount. Discount means you go back with less.
okay, understood.
Some people don't mind because then it's still actually in the end it's still the same lah. But sometimes say you urgently need 1,000, then you must be careful lah because you will get less. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this question. Linda plans to borrow 1,000 ringgit for 10 months at a simple interest rate of 8% per annum. Okay, so this one, you should sometimes they will use simple discount rate, or they may use simple interest rate, 8% per annum. Determine the discount and the proceeds. So our discount is MRT. Okay, where M is the money that you borrow, R is the rate, and T is the time. So what is our M here? M is 1,000 ringgit. R is 8 over 100. T is 10 months. So T is actually 10 over 12. Okay. So now we can calculate our D. This is 1,000 times 6, 8. Okay, let's just say this is 6 because of my calculations here are for 6. Okay, let's just say this is 6. So this is 6 over 100 times 10 over 12. Okay, so we have here 66 ringgit and 67 cents. This is the discount. That means you go back with 1,000 minus the discount. Okay, so what is the proceeds that you go back with? Proceeds is M minus D. This is the total amount that you actually asked for is 1,000 minus the discount, 66 ringgit and 67 cents. So this is 933 ringgit and 33 cents. Okay, so
Madam,
yes,
is the calculation wrong?
which part?
The D is the answer is 50.
Then okay, try with 8 and see. I don't know where I made the mistake. Try with 8.
8 is 66.67.
Okay, thank you. So it's 8 here then. Thank you. Thank you for checking that. Okay. So this is it. Okay. So that means she actually planned to borrow 1,000, but she only gets 933 because the money has been, the discount rate has been taken out. The money has been discounted. So this is what we mean by simple discount. It's actually the same as simple interest. The calculations are all the same if you think about it. It's just the reverse. Okay. So now we're going on to the next topic, which is partial payment. Okay. Okay. Partial payment. What is partial payment? Okay. Say you borrow 1,000 ringgit from the bank for 1 year. Okay. Interest rate is 10%. So that means actually you must pay back 1,100, right? So this 1,100, you can pay it back. It depends on the bank. You can pay it back as a lump sum at the end, or maybe the bank will require you to pay it every month. Okay. Even if you pay every month, at the end, you still pay only 1,100. Okay. So sometimes when we have taken a loan, maybe in between you have some extra money and you want to settle this loan. So you make a partial payment. When you make a partial payment like this, it is good for you because the interest becomes less. So in the end, you pay back the bank less, a little bit less. You understand? Okay, let's see how to do it first. Okay, to calculate a partial payment, okay, these are the steps that we follow, okay. Step 1, determine the exact time from the day of the initial loan to the first partial payment date, okay. Okay, let's draw a line here, okay. So say this is the day of the initial loan, okay, or this is the present time, okay. This is the end time. This is when your loan matures, okay. This is also, we also use the term maturity date. That means this is the date you must settle your loan, okay. You can, so you have this time, okay. Say this is about, say this is the duration, okay. This is the duration of your loan, okay. This is your duration of the loan. So you can take the loan here and pay it back on maturity date. But sometimes some people, when they got extra money, they like to make extra payment. So when you make extra payment, now we want to know whether are we still paying the same amount or are we paying less? Okay, that is what we're going to calculate. So the first step is to determine the exact time from the present time to the maturity date. What is the exact time? We calculate that first, okay? Sorry, we calculate from the present time to say we want to make a partial payment here. Okay, so we calculate this time. We need to calculate this time here. From the present time to the date of the partial payment. In step 2, calculate the interest for this duration from present time to partial payment. Here's where you make a partial payment. We need to calculate the interest during this time. And then subtract the interest amount from the partial payment. Okay, we already know the interest here. We subtract that from the partial payment. After we've done that, whatever remainder, we subtract that from the principal. Okay, I tell you what, we do the question first. We try the example first and then we go back and look at the steps. Okay, Suki took out a loan for 9,000 at an interest rate of 6% for 210 days. That means this duration is 210 days, correct? She took the loan for 9,000 ringgit. This is her loan that she took present day. This is her principal, correct? Principal is 9,000. She took a loan for 9,000. Interest is 6%. That means R is 6 over 100. So by right, how much must she pay at the end here? What is the simple amount? Let's calculate the simple amount. Simple amount is P into 1 plus RT. P is 9,000 into 1 plus R is 6 over 100. T is 210 over 365, right? But in this case, in this case, I'm going to use banker's method, okay? Just now, okay, to make my calculation easier, banker's method. So I'm going to divide it by 360, okay? So tell me, what is the amount? Anybody? I don't know. I don't have the calculation here. Okay, so you have to tell me.
9,000.
Yes.
9,315.
9,315. Okay, so from here, what is the interest? Can you tell me straight away from this calculation here, what is our interest here? Yes, this is 9,000, right? This 9,000 times 1 is 9,000. So the balance here is 315. Okay, so our interest for this question is 315. If we pay one shot from here to here, okay, we are paying interest 315. So at the end here, we have to pay 9,315 ringgit. Okay, but Suki wants to make a partial payment. That means she wants to pay 2,000 ringgit on the 90th day. That means from here to here, 90th day. She wants to pay 2,000 ringgit. She got extra money here. She wants to settle it a bit. So now we want to find the adjusted balance due on maturity date. If she makes a payment here, this one will change, right? This one will change. Now we want to know what is the adjusted balance. So when it changed, we call this the adjusted balance. So we want to find what is the new balance here. Okay. So how do we do that? Okay. First, we calculate the interest for this duration. Calculate the interest for this duration from here to here. Let's calculate the interest. Okay. Okay. How do we do that? Calculate the interest. Interest is equals to PRT is equal to, your principal is still 9,000 times by, what's the R? 6/100 times T. What is T now? From here to here, how many days?
90 days.
Yes, 90. So it's 90 over 368. I told you I'm using 360, yeah? So how much is the interest? ringgit, huh? Okay, so it's 135 ringgit. So we know that the interest is 135 ringgit. Now subtract the interest from we want to subtract the interest amount from the partial payment. So when we subtract the interest from the partial payment, what do we get? How much is the partial payment? 2,000 minus 135. What do we get here?
1865.
Correct. 1865. Now this balance we subtract from the principal. The principal is 9,000 minus this balance. How much of the principal is left?
7135.
Yes. So this is the principal that is left here. Okay. So that means now the principal left here is 7,135. This is our new principal. Now we must calculate the new interest from here to here. Okay. So what is the new interest now based on the new adjusted principal here? So now we are going to calculate this. Now our principal is 7,135 multiplied by 6/100. How many days from here to here?
90.
120.
Yes, 120 over 360. So we have 142 ringgit and 70 cents. Okay, so finally our adjusted interest, our adjusted balance, the new balance is the new principal plus the interest. Okay, so this is 7,277 ringgit and 70 cents. So now we have to pay this. Is this more or less than the original? Originally, we have to pay 9,315. This is what we have to pay originally, right? But she paid a partial payment of 2,000. Now she has to pay this much. So is she paying more or is she paying less at the end?
Less.
Less, right? What is the total interest that she has paid now? What's the total? She paid just now 135 and then she paid another 142. So the total interest that she has paid is 135 plus 142, 70. That is
277.
correct.
727.
277.70, yeah? So she has paid this much of interest, okay? Compared to what we calculated earlier, 315. If you pay one shot, the whole thing until the end, you must pay interest 315. But because she made a partial payment, so the interest now is less. Do you understand this calculation? So these are the steps here, okay? First, you determine the exact time from the date of the initial loan to the first partial payment. Then you calculate the interest for this duration, okay, for this first part here, duration. Subtract, this is very important, you subtract the interest from the partial payment first, okay, and then when you have remainder money, then only you subtract from the principal, and this is your new adjusted principal. Okay, if you make some more partial payments, maybe she make another 3 payments, partial payment, then you repeat this process. Okay, when you get your final adjusted principal, then you must calculate the interest from the last partial payment to the adjusted principal, and then you add that to get your final total. Boleh faham ke?
Yes.
That means when you take a loan, is it good to make partial payment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sometimes when you take a loan, the banker will tell you, you ask the banker, if I got more money, can I settle the loan faster? He will say, yes, I give you a discount. Actually, he's not giving you a discount. It's just that you are paying less in interest. Okay? So that's why you must know all these things. So when you go and ask for a loan, you must know how to calculate all these things so they don't tell you otherwise. Okay? So when you do partial payment, you must calculate the interest from the first day until the date of the partial payment. And then that interest you must minus from the partial payment. Whatever is remainder, you minus from the principal. Okay, so that is your new principal now. Then you calculate the new interest from the new principal to the end, and you add the new interest to the new principal. That is your final payment. Okay, this is what we mean by partial payment. Okay. Okay, so we got one more topic to go. I don't know whether to do this now or not. I think it's just one question that I want to do. Okay, I try and finish it, okay? Just little while more. Is that okay?
Yes.
Just one last question, okay?
Yes.
Okay, equation of value, okay? This is the definition. We come to that later, okay? Let's just look at the calculation first, so we understand what's going on. Okay, equation of value. Say a debt of 800 ringgit due in 4 months. Okay, say I have a number line here. Okay, this is the present day. Present day. The debt is due in 4 months. So this is 4 months. Okay, so you must pay how much here? 800, right? In 4 months, you must pay 800. And then another 1,000 due in 9 months. That means from the beginning here until 9 months, this is 9 months. So in 9 months time, you must pay another 1,000. That means you have actually taken 2 loans. One is 800, one is 1,000. First loan is due in 4 months. That means in 4 months, the forthcoming months, you must pay 800. In another 9 months, you must pay the second loan, which is 1,000. Okay? But you want to settle both the loans fast. You want to make one single payment at 6 months here. At 6 months, you want to make one single payment. Say you're paying X here. Okay? So assuming the money is worth 6% per annum, that means this is your interest rate R, 6% simple interest. So they ask you to find how much is X. Find the size or the amount of this payment. Find X. Using the present as the focal date. That means we are going to use this day to decide how much to pay for X. Okay? So when we compare 800 and the present day, which one will be the principal and which one will be the sum amount that you have to pay? Okay, see like this. So the amount of 800 ringgit at the focal date. That means the focal date is the day we are considering. Okay. So first we want to consider the present as the focal date. That means this is our focal date here for the first question. This is our focal date here. Okay. We want to know in 4 months time is 800. if here, how much will this 800 be worth here? That means if it's in front, it's like because when you have principal and you have interest and then you have the simple sum, right? This is what you borrow, you add the interest, finally you pay this, right? So P is before S, correct? Principal is always in front. So this is like principal, you're finding the principal. If you're finding the principal here, what is the formula here we're going to use? We're going to use P is equals to S over 1 plus RT is equals to S into 1 plus RT to the power of minus 1. We're going to use this formula. So our S now our S here will be the 800, okay? So it's 800 into 1 plus R is 6 over 100 and T is how many months here? T is 4 months, right? So T is 4 over 12. Okay, this is to the power of negative 1. So when you solve it, you will get 784 ringgit and 31. Okay, now we want to find how much. First, we found this. At 4 months here, how much? Now we want to find 1,000 at the focal date is how much. Okay, this is also like 1,000 is in the back, the focal date is in the front. So it's like we are finding the principal. So the amount of 1,000 ringgit at the focal date is 1,000 ringgit times 1 plus R is still the same. Now T is, how much is T? How many months from the present date? 9 months, right? So it's 9 over 12. So this is 956 ringgit and 94 cents. Okay. So now we want to see how much is X at the focal date. So now this one, how much will it be here at this date? Okay. So amount of X. X is the single payment. Amount of X will be, if it's on that day, so it will be X times 1 plus 6 over 100. X is at 6 months. So it's 6 over 12 to the power of negative 1. The power of negative 1 is 1 over this. Okay, that's how we calculate. Okay, so this is, we solve this, we get 0.97087x. Okay, so we have two payments. Okay, we have payment at 800 here at 4 months and at 1,000 at 9 months. We combine these two to make X. Okay, so 8,800 ringgit is actually worth 784 ringgit and 31 cents at the focal date. 1,000 ringgit is worth 956 ringgit and 94 cents at the focal date. X is worth 0.97087. Okay, this much, X. So now, because we're going to pay these two together, therefore we can add both. So that means 0.97087x is actually equals to 784.31 plus 956.94. So this is 1,793 ringgit and 49 cents. Okay, so this is X. So if you make one single payment, this is the amount that you must pay. This is called equation of values. Okay, this is called equation of values. Okay, an equation that states the equivalence of two sets of dated values. We have two sets of dated values at a focal date is called an equation of value. Can you understand that? Okay, Nariman. I don't know if you can understand this, huh? Can or not?
Quite difficult.
We need to revision back.
Okay. Okay, you know there's part B there. You want to continue with the part B? The date of settlement as the focal date?
Yes.
Okay, let's do the part B, yeah? Because if you understand, you can tell me, okay? So this is part B. Okay, let's draw our number line first here, okay? Or we can use the same number line also can, okay? So we have, this is the present day, okay? This is our 800 and this is our 1000 ringgit. We want to use the date of settlement as the focal date. So what is the date of settlement? When does she want to settle it?
6
6
months.
months. Yes. So this is 4 months. Okay, you're supposed to settle in 4 months. This is 9 months. Okay, she wants to settle it at 6 months. Okay, this is X. Huh? So now they say use this as your focal date. Okay, that means all calculations is based on this. So now your 800 is from here to here. You want to calculate how much is it here. 1000 is from here to here. Okay, let's count the amount for 800. Okay, so amount of 800 data at focal date. Okay, what formula are we going to use here? Now, which is the principal now? Which is in front of the other? 800 is in front, right?
Yes.
So we assume X is to be the P or S?
Yes.
S, right?
Yes.
Okay. S is the S. Then how much is it? What formula are we going to use? S is equals to P into 1 plus RT. Okay. So we're going to use this formula. So this is 800 times 1 plus R is 6 over 100. What's our T now? How many months from here to here? How many months from here to here?
2 months.
2. So it's 2 over 12. Okay. So that will be 808 ringgit. Okay. For the second one, amount of 1000 ringgit debt at the focal date. So this one, which formula are we going to use here? One with -1 or without -1? This one is the P or is it the S now for the 1000? It's in front or the back? If it's in the front, then you assume it to be the principal. Okay. If it's at the back, you assume it to be the amount. Simple amount. Okay. So because it's in the front, we assume it to be the P. If it's the P, then we are going to use the -1 formula. Okay. This is 1000 into 1 plus 6 over 100. The time, what is the, how many months from here to here? 3 over 12 to the power of -1. Okay. So we get here 985 ringgit and 22. So we add that two together, we get X. So X is actually 808 plus 985 ringgit and 22 cents. This is actually 1793 ringgit and 22 cents. Okay, so that is if you want to make one single payment instead of two, this is the amount that you must pay. This is called equation of values. When you got like two debts to, you want to convert to one, then you use an equation, you form an equation.